Good day. In the last session, I got the start Daemon installed notice up and running with a little button for starting the daemon if it's installed, but didn't actually hook that up to do anything. So I think that's what I need to do next to get things going on Snippet Expander being built with Gleam. So Gleam front end, Wails backend. So let's get this up and running. So make it a little bit bigger so you can see what's going on. We have in the source, I guess. Let's do that. Okay. So we have a daemon installed view. And if the daemon is installed, we're going to open up a notice and pass in the button with some text. This is going to have to change soon. Because when we start the daemon, we need to take away the button and say it's starting. And if it fails to start, we need to show an error and then come back to this view, I guess, as such. Okay. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'll just make sure everything's up and running today. Snippet Expander. There we go. So that's with it working. Let's get Snippet Expander stopped. And run it again. It looks like Snippet Expander is installed. Okay. And then we've got this button. That does nothing at the moment. Okay. That's what we've got to do. So I must have a function for that. Let's have a look. And now that I've built it, I should have in dist. Oh, why is that? Oh no, it won't be in dist. In here. Oh, it's not showing it. Interesting. Maybe because it's ignored. But that Wails. And then it should be go. No, go. Thank you. Main app.js. Actually, this is probably the worst thing to look at because it's not going to show me what it does. But anyway, let's do start. Yeah, start Daemon. I've got any other start things? No. Okay, that's cool. All right, yeah. So that's going to call back to the Wails backend and start it, but I should probably look at the actual code there. Remind myself what's going to happen. So we'll go back and do app.go. And there's start daemon. Okay, so this bit of Go code hangs off the app class as such. Type. And it's for starting the daemon. And that's what's been built into a little bit of JavaScript IPC, which I can use on the front end. And let's have a look. So the first thing it does is double checks that snippet expand daemon is installed, throws an error otherwise. If the daemon's already running, it says nah, don't need to do it. And then we have, okay, kicking off snippet expand daemon with a no hop so it doesn't die. And if it has an error, it returns obviously the error. And a bit of text. Okay. I might have to change this one day because that's not translatable strings. But let's just get this thing working for the moment. Okay, and then if it's successful, just returns nil. Okay. That's going to be fun to handle. So nothing coming back, basically an empty promise, means success. So I'm just thinking whether that means I need to do another little daemon running check straight after I get this result. Did I do that in the old version? So in the Svelte version, we have start daemon. Oh, we've got two starts there. Start and start in. So in the start, handle start daemon, that just calls. Right, so that updates the store to say that we are starting the daemon, calls start daemon. If it's successful, we just go get some snippets. Otherwise, we show error. Which is another thing. From app.js. Okay. Right, and by putting this starting daemon back to false, I'll just switch the notice back. I mean, that should have probably happened anyway, regardless. Because it's no longer starting, even if it's successful. Okay. Right. show error. Okay, so I am calling the built-in Wails message dialog function by the looks of things. Saying I'm an error dialog, the title and a message. Okay, so the previously the message was basically the error. Okay. Fine. So while this is going to be called with a promise returned and all that kind of stuff, in this case, I don't care about waiting. It's just going to show it and then carry on in the background and put things back to Daemon's not running. You need to start it. So I don't need to do anything fancy there. I just need to pass in the right information. Okay. Right. So we need to do a start in Daemon, and that's it. Don't need a started because yeah, okay. Just thinking about the messages that we need. Right, we are going to want a daemon starting so that we can switch views. Which means we need that as well. So we need to initially, it's not starting. And then for messages, let's move that up here. We want I'm going to go start Daemon. On click, which we should just handle by calling the back end, updating the model, do need to reverse that though. So we do probably need both. just to clean up. So we do need to be able to say, okay, it started. Actually, no, we don't. If the Daemon check works, then by definition it's already started. And we're not starting. Okay. Feels a little bit untidy to do it that way though. But I also don't get a result back. So yeah, I do need to just do a simple start Daemon. Okay. I think I'm getting to it. So we have start Daemon message. Let's move this up here so I know what's going on. Get things in the right order. So on the back of start Daemon, we are going to okay. I think we'll just do the plain as simple as can, and we'll do model update where we set Daemon starting to true. And then we just kick off a start Daemon. And before I forget, in handle Daemon, Hmm. And do a quick little. I can do a little quick thing here. I can say Daemon starting. Equals no. Yeah, actually. Daemon starting is equal to case Daemon running. If it's true, then I just set to false. But otherwise, false in this case, because there is only two options. I just return model Daemon starting, because I don't want to change. So it may or may not be running. And then I can update it here. I think that works. Okay. And then we have the tricky bits. So we want a external call. Yeah, we do, obviously. To start Daemon. We are going to call this JS start Daemon. And we have no return. Well, we do. I have a promise that always returns nil. We don't care about it. And then in here, so the actual call, what we're going to make in Gleam, doesn't have any input. It doesn't have any effect either. Call it. We maybe kick off a show error with the results. Otherwise, we don't care. It either did its job or it didn't, and the Daemon check's going to determine that. So, we don't actually have any return here. We don't need all this effect stuff. Well, I say that. So the problem is, I kind of want to not do anything, but I've got a promise to handle. Well, I guess I could do just like it has there, just return nil. So we don't need that wrapper there. We are calling start Daemon. Oh, off on my keyboard. I'm in a funny angle or something. Okay. So I'm just going to call it. Don't care. Well, I don't have this going on, but I do need to get the reject. I do need to get the error message out of that. Okay, so in that case, I need to look at the docs. So xdocs, is it Gleam JavaScript. Promise. Okay, I don't have results. If the promise is an error state, then apply a function to convert the error value back into a valid value, making the promise healthy again. This is the equivalent of the promise catch in JavaScript. Okay, so the promise comes in. It's a shame there's no example here. So the promise comes in. Then we run some function on the value. And turn it back to the generic again. That may have come from the promise. I think. Is that what it's saying? Is there a reject handler here? No. Okay. Let me go back up here. Confused. What's going on? So what? Use a Gleam. If you want to represent success and failure with promises, use a Gleam result inside of a promise. Okay, what have I got so far? I'm going to get a promise back. In previous things, I've been using map to get the value out. So it's basically the A from here becomes the constructor for my message, which is just that. And then I've been using tap, which is basically I'm calling the dispatch on the message, which is the pass through on the pipe. Resolves. So it's only rescue that I can use. If the promise is in an error state, then apply a function to convert the error value back into a valid value, making the promise healthy again. Okay, so that is actually effectively the same as the map then, but catching an error instead of a good. What's the map try? Run a function on the variable promise resolves to after it has resolved. Oh yeah, that's using the OK stuff, which I can't do. I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole yet. I may have to work out how to do that in JavaScript, so it returns a result. But this is basically the same as the reject. The promise comes in, you run a function on it, you get a result back. And I shouldn't say result, but anyway, same thing, but on an error, which can be anything. So that's effectively, I guess, the string. Which means I'll have to convert that from dynamic. So hex docs, Gleam standard lim, dynamic. No, that's going the other way. I want I need to convert it. Oh, decode. That will do me. Right, so that's what I'll need to do. This kind of thing, get the string. Like I've done, I had to do all that kind of stuff in Compexy when I was decoding with JSON. It's fairly similar. Okay. Right, so rescue. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. Let's just do it into here. So we'll do rescue. And we will Okay, the rescue's only going to get called if there's an issue. Right, what I'm thinking is I can actually just call decode on it. And then pass that straight in to show error. And then that takes two things. Yeah. So I need another function. And what does decode string look like? I have to do the decoder run. Okay. Right, so I need a special function for this then. So what we're going to do, we need a function for show JS error, which is going to take an error which is dynamic, because that's all we can do, and it's going to return nil. Let's force that. And then I think then we can do let no message. No, it's not quite like that. Let's do this so I don't get confused. Equals decoder decode run on the error. Yeah. decode string. So that gives us that. At the end, we're doing nil. We are going to be calling show JS error. We have to go grab the dialog. So we're going to call the backend there. Again, that's a promise of nil. And then we have a function show error. Which is going to take title, which is a string, and then a message, which is also a string by now. And does nothing. And that is going to that's going to return nil no matter what. And we're just going to call JS show error. Hold on. Yeah. Here we need title. And message. And then we pass these through. And then we need some text here. So I'm going to go grab translator stuff from here. I'm going to cheat. Got the translator. And then yeah, and then we'll call yeah. Then we'll call show error. I'll go find out what that title should be in a minute. And then we pass in the message as well. In theory. What's that then? Expected type string found result string. Oh, right. It may or may not decode. So it's a pain. What am I going to do there? I guess. Well, I guess I just use the case statement and get it out there. Mm. So if it's an OK, result, then we just return the result. Otherwise, don't really care. I wonder, have I got a translation of like unknown error? Because that'd be handy. So source front-end. Oh no, yeah, translations. No. Save error, import error. Should I use Daemon start error title? Daemon starting. I don't think I ever actually created that. Well, that's a pain. Because at the moment I can't regenerate these translations. Okay. Let's have a quick look at that. I don't know why I keep doing this instead of using the browser. Explorer. Okay. Yeah, we don't have one. Oops. Guess I'll never hit that. Let's add one. Oops. Error starting title, is that right? Oh, start error title. Okay, I'm trying to remember to do that. Just do that. Could not start. Snippet expander Daemon. Okay. I'll have to hook that up to do regenerate once the library is released with the fixes that I did the other day. So in the meantime, let's find Daemon starting. And we'll do another one here. So we'll do Daemon start title error. That. So we just added translation manually there. I wonder if that's because I'm in. So it's failing Probably because I've got the file locked. Try that in a sec. No? Oh, I'm going to go fix that in a sec. Okay. So we have Daemon starting, Daemon start error, could not start Daemon. Right, so we've got the translations there. In theory. Let's quickly get that in as the title. Daemon start error title. And then here what we'll do is we'll do the translator a little bit earlier. And we'll just take this and we'll do this as the default for the moment. To do here. To do create generic message. Start Daemon. I'll do that in a bit. Not today though. Okay, so it's just effect found new. Okay. That's a bit messy. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. We'll just have start Daemon. Do its thing. Ah. It's going to be return a model and effect. Message. Okay, I better pass in the model then. No, I haven't put it in yet. Did I put it in the wrong place? Yes. Okay. So we're going to call the JavaScript backend start Daemon and do rescue to call show JS error. Otherwise, we'll basically, regardless, we will update the model to say the Daemon's starting and not do anything else. And then on the back of that, hopefully the Daemon starts and things update okay. And then we have handle Daemon running comes in. And if it's running, we say this Daemon is not starting. No, case Daemon running. If it's true, Daemon starting is false. Otherwise, we just use it from the model. That's fine. Okay. And then here, we start the Daemon. It does nothing. And we need to actually kick that off. So we have a start Daemon message, which we're not using yet. Oh. Yay. Thank you. And then we have somewhere here, we have a button. And we're going to do on click. Event on click. Start Daemon. So that kicks off the message, in theory. Right, now I need to go fix the build. Why is that broken? Cannot overwrite front-end source Wails. Why is it doing that? That's weird. I'm rapidly run out of time. So, source. Weird. Why is that in there? Huh. In theory, that's it, up and running. Does the bottom work? Yes. Smart. Okay. That's good. Definitely run out of time now. So I might need to do some tidying up. And I need to see about the error handling. So I might tomorrow force an error and make sure I can actually catch them. So let's do a couple of to-dos. Do it here. First to do document new stuff. Second to do test error from start Daemon actually caught. Okay. Right, gotta go. But it worked anyway. A little bit messy, but I'm gonna end up doing a little bit of refactoring to get some of these functions into like a second module to sort of clean it up at some point, I'm sure. And then it'll start to be a little bit neater, but it's doing the job. And I just need to test to make sure that error handling works. And then I'm probably going to have to do a couple of tweaks to the views as well. I need to do the starting as well. Oh, yeah. And to do add Daemon starting view. Okay. Sweet. That's for another day. Okay, thanks for watching. Until next time, you take care. Bye.